Welcome to episode 21 of Steins Gate. Last time we discovered the identity of FB, and Okabe realized, oh yeah, this all started with Kurisu dying. I forgot about that. Oops. So, let's see what happens. We're getting so close to the end, and it's really exciting. So, yeah, I've got the subtitles and timer if you want to follow along that way, or if you want to pull up the episode on your own. We're going to watch it, and we're going to discuss it at the end. So, let's go ahead. Watch episode 21. In 3, 2, 1, play. The episode is called Paradox Meltdown. Okabe is probably going to be having a meltdown. This is correct, yes. Makise Kurisu will die. Now, this changes things. Shit, just when he starts to think, okay, we're doing good, we're making progress. And it's not even new information, it's something that you just forgot. So, while the OP is playing, let me say that if you enjoy these videos, we've got new episodes of Steins Gate every Monday if you want to subscribe to the channel to be notified when those are uploaded, in addition to the other videos that I upload every single day of the week. Also, check out the links in the description below. Twitter and Discord are there if you want to come talk, hang out. And Patreon. On Patreon, you can support the channel and my ability to make these videos, and you get rewards, such as the ability to vote in polls, where you vote on what shows I do on the channel, and you also get the videos a week earlier than everybody else on YouTube. And that's cool. Probably. And this is Steins Gate. So, we have so few episodes left. We have to figure out who killed Makise and why. See if we can stop that while still also stopping Mayuri's death. And can we have the happiest ending possible? Mayuri's alive, Kurisu's alive, CERN is stopped, everything is good. Do we have to sacrifice something? I hope not, but we'll see what happens. I know there's like a whole, there's Steins Gate Zero that covers like a whole nother thing. There's a movie, there's alternate episode. So there's different paths. But what will play out in the main storyline of the main show? I don't know. That's why he's got all the money with him. Really? Yeah, now he's got a whole other thing to figure out, and Kurisu is the one that he's been sharing all his information with and confiding in, and I don't know if you want to do that now. Maybe it's a good idea to do it, but maybe, I know why you'd be conflicted about it, telling her the exact reason for your distress. She's the one who reminded him about it in the first place, but she wasn't taking it seriously. Well, that's nice. He is the Nami to her Luffy. He looks absurd. Hello, but... So it should be the 16th? Okay. I can't be expected to know how to do math. I was thinking Ferris, Rukiko, Moeka. That's all I was thinking of. I had forgotten about Suzuha's. Even though that's the first one that he said. Indeed. Just trust me on this. She's just trying to have a good time. And he's worrying about all this. Damn, he doesn't want to go back there because of what happens to her. So he's like, I gotta find a way to stay here and let Mayuri survive here. Of course, you could try working your way back there and then preventing that death. But you don't know anything about it. That's just a whole another thing you've gotta worry about, and you might not succeed, and then will he tell her? He's gonna tell her about Mayuri. But is he gonna tell her that he was completely serious about her being killed as well? It's hard to say. Yeah, he doesn't want to say it. Like, I definitely think getting help is a good thing, but I understand his hesitation. Because then when you bring that into it, that just, like, can she make rational decisions if she knows? If she knows what's gonna happen to her there? Will she really be helpful? Will listening to her be a good thing? I don't know. But is it gonna happen? We're building up to it here, so maybe it's not gonna happen and it's gonna surprise us. She's not just gonna somehow be safe now, is she? That was my moment to shine. That was my environment. But she's still upset about how distant they've been, and of course, if you stay in this world line, those memories are going to stay with her. But if you can keep her alive, then you can move on from it and, start being close again. Yeah, there you go. Just talk like her friend. I'm sure that would happen. It's nice for them to just be able to have a conversation about something silly. What would he cosplay as? Is she gonna suddenly die? Or, maybe we've somehow escaped it, or it's gonna happen in a different time. Yeah, she could tell that she was. Uh-oh. Car. It might miss. It's building up our expectations that she's gonna die. So maybe it's not gonna happen. The watch stopped. He's just gonna try his hardest to save her. Okay, it looks like it's still on track to happen. But he's trying. He's like, I'm gonna talk to her like I normally do. I'm gonna be friendly to her. I'm not gonna let this happen. Don't leave her alone, though. You never know what the hell's gonna happen when she's alone. Whoa! Oh, whoa! Whoa! Oh, she fucking... Oh, that's the saddest one yet. God, that's fucked up! What the hell's the matter with you, show? God, the fucking headspace that he had to be in for that. Like, I'm gonna let myself die. That something's gotta change, right? He's so desperate. Oh my, and that just leads to her dying again. No matter what you do. No matter what you do. You can't, fuck. I wasn't sure if we would be on track to changing things now, but it happened again. You can't. You have to get out of here. You've got to go back to where Makise dies. Then just hope that you can do something about that from there. No talking. I gotta go. This music is not helping the situation. Is he gonna let him do it? He has to. All he can do is just sit there and... This music is not helping me. It's making me a little teary in the eye regions. No problem though, it's fine. Don't worry about it. He called it off again? No? Yes? No? I mean... What are you gonna do then? I know you're not just gonna stay here and let Mayuri die. You gonna keep trying? Oh, you have no idea. Maybe this is his lowest point. Maybe this is the part where he considers just giving up. It's true. Well, with Suzuha, you made things better. Initially, she killed herself. It was tragic. So, you know. Probably helped Moeka, too. It sucks to see him at this part where he's just like, fuck it. But I mean, you can't blame him after all this. He's gonna tell her. You were killed. That was the first one. And of course his experiences with Mayuri, how it doesn't seem like you can avoid somebody's death. I understand that why that would make him think that if he went back there and tried to avoid Kurisu's, he wouldn't be able to. So you just have to choose. But I mean, that is the original one. That is what originally happened, so... And I'm sure she would say the same thing. She's gonna say, don't choose my life. I don't want Mayuri die for me. Those are the leaders of the organization? Okay. Just go to her right now. She's got to be worrying quite a lot about this, too. I mean, she's acting pretty cool. But it can't be that easy. Mayuri looking up there like she's about to be taken away, and it just keeps happening. Scary dreams. Okay. So as we saw, with Ruka and Ferris remembering other world lines, Mayuri is as well through dreams. And it's always her dying, and that's fucked up. That's actually horrible. This whole time, she's been having constant nightmares about her her inescapable death. And she's just always just acting totally normal. Like, pretending that that's not bothering her. I don't know if not crying is going to remain consistent here. He's just standing here, hearing all of this. To when it was just you two. Or three. Barefoot. Good work. Just brought her into the lab, just like that. Well, that's nice. You could just be there together. Not awkward, just hanging out near each other. It's fine. That guy, yes, of course. That's nice seeing, like, when the lab member days started. He's just been standing there this whole time. Is he... If he's not crying, then goddamn. He's not. It's really nice to hear him be Halloween Kiyoma and talk to Mayuri about this kind of stuff. It's like a massive breather, honestly. It's actually pretty impressive, honestly, how him reverting that to that persona kind of just relieves the tension for a while. Okay? Well, shit. I don't know why you do these things. Why must you cliffhang? Why must you do it? Well, let's talk about that one. Alright, episode 21. Not a lot really happens in this episode. It's mostly just about kind of the introspection of what's going on right now, this conflict that Okabe is dealing with and trying to decide what to do. But it didn't feel slow or boring or anything like that, and it actually went by really fast. By the time we got to the end of it, I was like, no, that can't be the end. God damn it. Especially with what little tiny bit they showed at the end with Kurisu. But yeah, with Okabe realizing now that he has kind of a choice here. Who do you let die? Kurisu or Mayuri? This whole episode is him dealing with that problem. And Kurisu as well, when she finds out. I'm glad he did tell her about it, because that's a hard choice to make. Like, he has had to rely on her a lot throughout these time leaps, which has always been a good thing. Their relationship has been great, and just bringing her in has always been a good idea. She's been very helpful. But then here, when it directly relates to her own murder, do you bring her in on that? I say yes, you probably should. Let her know what's going on. She can help, but I understand his hesitation and why he might not want to. Bringing up that information to somebody. How will they react to that? Are they even going to be of any help? Do you even want their help? Do you want their own extremely personal, biased perspective on it as the potential murder victim, you know? Because presumably she would end up saying, I am not going to sacrifice Mayuri's life for my own. not only that, but you've got to get back to that world line, not only for Mayuri's sake, but also for stopping CERN, so you have to do it. And just the way that she acts when he tells her all this, she acts very cool, calm and collected mostly, like, don't spend your time worrying about me, go talk to Mayuri right now. But then you see that shot of her in the stairwell, and of course, as it would with anyone, this does hit her pretty hard. And then you see at the end, her at the place of her murder. At first I wasn't sure, I was like, wait, what's going on? I was thinking maybe it was a dream, because we established Mayuri's dreams in this episode. Maybe she was dreaming and remembering the murder from the other world line, but seems not to be the case. She just seems to, because the time machine isn't there, so she seems to just be there for whatever reason. Maybe she's just kind of reflecting on it all. She just decided to go to the scene of it to just kind of help her think about this whole situation and process it. But yeah, it's an interesting conflict about like whether to tell her, and then the fact that he does, and she's got to think about all this. It's really rough, and of course Mayuri dealing with his relationship with her. I love the scenes where she is just trying to be nice and normal and sweet, as she always is to him, talking about cosplay and Kamima and all this stuff, putting the hat on his head and everything, and he just seems so distant as usual. But I love the scenes where he interacts with her the way they did at the beginning of the show when the Kiyoma personality comes out. It really is like such a tension reliever, honestly, especially at the end of the episode, because we had this stretch where he was barely resorting to that persona at all because it was so serious and he was in such a horrible mental state. So when you see those moments where he'll talk about being a mad scientist or having a hostage and he can just interact in a fun way with Mayuri, it just made me smile. Like, the end of the episode, you have this really emotional, long dialogue scene at the graveyard, and then at the end when he is acting the way that he is, I just smiled and, like, I kind of just took a breath. It was like, literally, the tension being lifted off of me. It was just really nice. I think it's cool how his persona can be used that way. A persona that some people may find annoying at the beginning of the show. I didn't. I always thought it was really entertaining. But it's obviously this very over-the-top, eccentric persona, and then to have it go away for the time that it did, and then its return, whenever he brings it back up again, be like such a breath of fresh air. It's really nice, and just the scenes early on where he's interacting with Mayuri that way, I don't know if it was more so like, well, I know she's going to die, so, like, right before the car comes, you know, I know she's going to die, so let me at least give her, like, a good time in her last remaining moments. Let me at least be a friend to her here. Or because, like, I am going to try to fix this. I'm going to try not to go back to the Kurisu Death World line and just save Mayuri here. And so, like, him thinking, if I want to stay in this world line and continue my life here with everyone with Mayuri, then I'm going to start being friendly towards her again and acting normal towards her again. But either way, you know, it's a really good scene. It's emotional, and then of course the actual death is practically the saddest one yet. I mean, the first one was really bad just because, you know, it was the first one. It was shocking and upsetting. But here, just the context of it, Okabe being in the mind state to decide, I am just going to jump in front of this car and die. If I die, something has to change, right? And, like, it really feels like that kind of desperation. Like, it has to, right? Like, you know? That's, like, him being willing to do that. And, of course, him dying. If he wouldn't be able to check after the fact, you know, that would just be the end of it. This one last, final, desperate push. I'm gonna die and hope it does something. Bye, I'm fucking done. And that's messed up enough as it is. And then the fact that she jumps in front of him, and it's like, oh, fucking... And how he would have to feel at that point, that he did this, to go to that extreme, to save her, and even that leads to her death. And that she's on the ground and saying, I could finally be useful. It's like, oh, come on. Let go of my heartstrings. Stop the tugging. God damn it. And then the music that's playing. And then he takes her body and he carries it back to the lab. He puts her on the couch. And then him just, like, silently, with the head down, putting on the headphones. And he comes back. And I didn't know if he would call off the hacking again. I thought that might be the final one where he was like, I can't save her. We have to go back to the other world line. But still, calls off the hacking. I got tears in my eyes. He doesn't know what the hell to do. And it sucks seeing him that way. He's thinking about it, what people sacrificed for him to allow him to get here. Ferris having to give up her father, Ruka having to go back to being a boy. Now he has to ask Kurisu to die, and he has to give up this person that he is extremely close with. And just, I didn't know where we were going to go from here. I didn't know if he was just going to be like, fuck it entirely. I'm just done. It can't be fixed, and I give up. And he kind of was, like, getting ready to smash the phone, and Kurisu stopping him that way. He's really sitting there just thinking that, like, this is where it all led to, and this is all I could do. And it just sucks to see him in that state. But, you know, you've already come this far. They've already made their sacrifices. I feel like for their sakes, you've got to keep going. You've got to go all the way. And again, it's stopping CERN is there too. But I like how that's not even really on his mind at all. It doesn't even get brought up here, because as we've mentioned before, that's not the real, those aren't the personal stakes, those aren't the things we care about, that's not what he cares about. He's thinking about these people that are close to him that he doesn't want to lose. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that is kind of what we need to get done. And I'm sure Kurisu would say that, and even Mayuri, he says he'll tell her one day when the time comes. If he told her now, I'm sure she would say the same thing that Kurisu said. I'm sure she would say, I don't want Kurisu to sacrifice herself for me. Like, I'm sure they would both be selfless, but you've got to get back to that original world line and stop CERN. And the thing with Kurisu's death is that we don't know anything about it. Who killed her? Why? It could have just been Suzuha, because, you know, I've assumed for a while that it was somebody who knew that she would end up helping to create the time machine with CERN, and she was killed to stop that from happening. And so Suzuha is definitely a prime candidate there. I don't know if they would just make it that, oh, it just was Suzuha, but maybe. But yeah, you know, he hasn't tried anything to stop that one, of course. He doesn't have any information on that. But with his experiences trying to save Mayuri, it's been pretty drilled into his head that you can't stop it. So I hope we can. I hope there's a way. I want the show to end with everything fine. Like, CERN is stopped, Kurisu's alive, Mayuri's alive. I want the happiest possible ending for the end of the show. And I worry that it won't happen. Mayuri staying dead is not going to happen. CERN taking over is not going to happen. But Kurisu staying dead, I could see. I just don't want it to happen. Just got to find some way. I don't know how, you know. You can risk going back there and then trying to figure it out, trying to change things there until you get it right. But how will he do it? Like, if these deaths are just set in stone, is hers the same way? You know, with Suzuha, she died like around the same time regardless as well, whether it was suicide or just an illness, so it seems like people's deaths are just gonna happen. I like that this whole episode was just kind of slowed down to just stop and think about this whole thing and let it sink in for him. That was nice before the end, before we probably ramp up the tension in the last few episodes. And the scene in the graveyard was great. I really enjoyed that. I love hearing Mayuri's perspective on a lot of these things. Seeing her first visit to the lab was really cute. And the fact that she actually remembers all the world lines, which I wasn't sure how I felt about it with Ruka and Ferris, that they could kind of be spurred on to remember the other world lines. But it paid off here, because I definitely like it with Mayuri, and the fact that it was set up with those two makes it work. And I've come around on that, because the fact that she has had all of these dreams that are her deaths in these other world lines is horrifying. Just constantly all these dreams about who knows how many deaths. And then Okabe is always there to save her, and he can't hear her when she tries to thank him. And then he just looks so sad, and she tries to apologize, and he can't hear that. And how she knows that whatever is going on with him, while she doesn't know what it is and exactly why he's so distant all the time, she knows that something is different, and she can tell that it has to do with her. And that's just like, man, that whole scene is just great, with the way he's standing there behind her listening the whole time, and we go so long without cutting back to him or seeing his face, but you just know how he's got to be feeling. I really thought he'd be crying by the time we cut back to him, but just, again, the end of that scene, cutting to the Halloween Kiyoma persona, was like, oh, thank you, because this whole emotional scene that you get, Mayuri talking to her grandmother, kind of just, like, the heart's in knots a little bit, but then that persona comes out, and it's just a relief, and that was really nice. And I can't wait to see what happens from here, you know. I want him to find a way to save everybody, and I hope he does it. I remember one thought that I brought up quite a while ago. I said that if Kurisu was killed to stop her from ever helping CERN, if you then save her, like, does that then mean she will eventually help CERN? But, you know, at this point, if you go back to that original world line where you guys, like, CERN was never alerted to you guys in the first place because of the first email, then that shouldn't ever be a problem. So the main issue is just figuring out how to make it so that somebody doesn't die. And I mean, you never know. When we get back there, for whatever reason, he might be able to save her. Her death might not be the same as Mayuri's. I don't know, but we'll see. I imagine in the next episode, he's going to do it. Maybe not till the end, I'm not sure, but he'll have to. You've got to go back to that world line, so we'll see what happens. So let me know your thoughts on the episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel. Check out all my links below, Twitter, Discord, Patreon, all that stuff. I appreciate all the support from you all. So thank you, and I will see you in the next one.